Hi, and welcome to the Comfy Red Couch. My name is Tracy and I'm your host. I am coming to you from a lovely holiday weekend in Toronto. All holiday weekends are lovely, even if the weather doesn't fully cooperate. It's always nice knowing that you've got the Monday off. But yesterday was a rainy, gray day, and that was okay with me because it was the royal wedding. I came downstairs very, very early, earlier than I normally wake up, in fact, and made myself some tea, sat on the couch, did a little bit of relaxing before the wedding started. Then I grabbed my knitting and I knit along as the wedding was happening and kept knitting, watched the commentary afterwards. It was a nice, relaxing Saturday. Today it is sunny outside and I have my second part of the embroidery workshop that I started last week, and I'm going to talk about that a little later on in the podcast. So I'm looking forward to going out today and doing some more embroidery, learning some more stitches. And tomorrow is supposed to be beautiful for the Victoria Day Monday, so hopefully it will be. Are you leaving us, Scout? Maybe. Anyway, there she goes. You can find me on Ravelry. I am TRACEYRR, and on Instagram I am Comfy Red Couch, even though the couch has not been red for quite some time. Sometimes I do wonder whether I should change the name of the podcast, but I'm not quite there yet. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. For anyone who is new, this is a podcast about knitting, crafting, and generally the things that I get up to during the week. Welcome. I hope that you have a nice warm or cold beverage, whatever it is that you are preferring to drink right now, and that you've got your project of choice and that you're ready to come join me on the couch and talk about knitting, crafting, and all those lovely things. And if you are a returning viewer, you know I always love having you here. Scout always loves having you here. She's made a little bit more room for you by coming down here and putting her head on my knee. And I'm just always so happy to have you here. So I know you have your requisite cup of whatever it is you're drinking. I know you've got your project of choice. You've got your comfy spot on the Comfy Red Couch, and you are ready to talk about knitting. But of course, before we do that, we always need to start off with some tea time. And today I have a very, very special mug. And this was made for me by Nathaniel. And I think they did this one in daycare. So it says, "I love you, Mommy." It says, apparently I'm the best mom, although there are times I beg to differ. As I was reading this, there's a little spot there that says, "Best Mom." And I think what it actually says is forever, but I read it as "Best Mom Never." And I'm sure my kids, and sometimes I would agree that sometimes I'm the best mom never, but in this case, he thinks I'm the best mom forever. So just a fun, sweet little gift to get on Mother's Day last week. So I'm going to christen my mug with you and drink along. Just a funny Mother's Day sort of anecdote. Many years ago, I gave my mother a card and it said, "Mom, you mean so much to me." The problem is she read it as, "Mom, you're mean so much to me." So yes, and sometimes she was. So we all have those mother moments. Anyway, I hope that you have your beverage with me and you are ready to say cheers to the week past, cheers to the royal couple, cheers to the week ahead, cheers. And today, oh, I forgot to tell you what I am drinking. So I've cheered too fast. Oh well. Today I am drinking just a bag of Earl Grey. This is one that came with some yarn. I couldn't tell you which yarn it came with, but that is what I'm drinking. Bigelow Earl Grey tea. Cheers to that. I'm not sure whether to lump embroidery in with Material Girl or my favorite things, but since needlework is really, really one of my favorite things to do, I'm putting it in my favorite things this week. If I continue to do it, maybe it will get its own segment, but for today, it'll just go into my favorite things. And last Sunday, I started a workshop at UKnit. I took part one last Sunday afternoon, and we learned lots of little stitches. Some of it I knew from cross stitch, so it wasn't a very difficult session, but it was kind of nice to learn how to do the roses. I already knew how to do French knots. I do not love doing French knots, but I can do them. And of course, back stitch, you do that in cross stitch as well. So just without the lines. Anyway, I did take that workshop last week, and part 2 is this afternoon, so I'm looking forward to going and learning some more stitches, but I will share what I did last week with you. When I got there, we got to choose out some things that we needed, so we chose 2 flosses, pink and green, big surprise. They were just staring at me, they looked pretty, they were close together, and I'm actually loving how they are turning out on the piece that I'm working on, which is just a sampler for stitches. So I have my thread, got my needles, got my hoop, and we were given, actually we had to purchase for this workshop, but the one-day workshops that you knit, all the stuff comes with your class. So we got a piece of cloth, and then we learned all of the stitches. So we started at the top with running stitch, and then we did back stitch, and then we did split stitch, which we used the full thread. It was really, really hard, even though I had my glasses on. It's much easier to do when you've got a smaller number of threads, so I know I can do it better. I have done it in the past on a couple of works, but my split stitch on this was really quite horrible. And then we did chain stitch, we did some lovely lazy daisies, and we also learned how to do the woven wheel, and then of course I've got some French knots there. So I had fun with my pink and green, and what I did was I just used one of these markers and wrote down underneath. So this is just pen, the blue that's on there. And what I would like to do is to go over that with a floss, and I'm thinking in the same color floss, just a nice blue I think would look really nice, and then it just becomes a nice little sampler piece to have. I have more material to do another one today, so I'm not sure what we're going to cover today. One thing I did buy, not at UKnit because they didn't have the smaller ones, but they sell the bigger pens, so I got this at UKnit. And these are Pilot, they're an erasable type of pen, friction. So these are called Pilot Frictions, and they've actually got an eraser at the top. And they're supposed to be for kids when they're learning to write with pens because it's an erasable pen. But apparently they work wonders on needlework because you can draw on the fabric and then you just iron it and the heat makes this disappear. The problem is if you are in subarctic temperatures, it will reappear on the page. So this one is supposed to wash off, the blue marker, although I've got it so heavy I'm not sure it will. I haven't tried yet. These ones iron off. I like the idea of these ironing off, and there was a stationery store just down from UKnit, so I was able to pick up the fine colors here. I was only able to find the green and the purple. I really wanted a pink, but they didn't have one in stock, so I got the green and the purple to try them out. If I really like them, I will get more, and I'll let you know how those go. So I'm going to take these with me today. I'm also going to take my pink and green floss back. Plus I have a whole binder full of flosses, and if I had known that we had to purchase, I probably would have just brought my binder with me so I could have changed out some colors. But today I'll bring the binder and I'll have some fun with some colors, pens, and whatever we are learning to do. So even though it was similar to the cross stitch, because it is a little bit more freehand, I wasn't quite as confident with the stitches, so it was nice to work on those, and I see a little bit more embroidery in my future. I did pick up a kit from the Stitchery. It's a monthly subscription, and I did decide to try the monthly subscription out, see if I like it, and I think I can cancel it anytime, but I am going to get the May kit, which is a royal wedding kit, and it's just a lovely, it's got linen, the threads, some little embellishments, the pattern, and hopefully it'll get me doing a little bit more needlework because it is actually one of my true loves. I used to do it a lot before I picked knitting back up again, and I really, really enjoy cross stitch. I do find cross stitch a lot more difficult now because my eyesight isn't as good as it used to be, but the embroidery I just sort of feel like because it's a little bit more freehand, perhaps it's a little more forgiving than the cross stitch. And I love working with linen, so those little tiny, you know, having to make sure you're getting those spots. I probably should invest in a really good light and a magnifying, some sort of magnifier, but for now I just have some fun with the embroidery. Scouts come back to join us. As I said, I am really enjoying the embroidery workshop, and I'm looking forward to going this afternoon and learning some more skills. So definitely fun to take classes. Even if you have a little bit of knowledge on it, it's always good to just sort of strengthen up those skills and just have a nice afternoon out doing something you love. And crafting is definitely something I love. Scout is wanting to play that up and down off the couch game that she likes to play. Some days, that's what she does. And today, that's what's happening. This week, I spent a lot of time on my Royalty and Romance Craft Along project, and that is in this bag by the lovely Christine, who has made one of the prizes for our Craft Along. So if you are joining in the Craft Along, it runs from May 6th, I believe was the start date, and it runs until Sunday, June 17th. So there is still time to cast on, and it just needs to be either something royal or something romantic. It could be for a wedding, it could be for a new baby, whatever you want to craft. It doesn't have to be knitting, it can be crocheting, it can be embroidery, it can be making a quilt. Whatever you can think of, you are definitely welcome to join in. My first two projects, because I do have a second one that I've cast on, are both knitting, and I was thinking I might branch out a little bit, but this one here is my Shawl Society, the third season, the first shawl. This is the test knit for it, and the only thing I can share with you from this project is the yarn that I am using. I'm at 75% right now. So this is the royal part. This is called Palace of Dreams by Once Upon a Corgi, and this is the MCN base. I did have a knot in this, which did not make me happy. So there was a knot and just tying two ends together, which was not thrilled about. And this is the Isaac base, 100% Polworth, and this is the Colorway Hedwig. So I am using my fun Owl Corner of Craft Progress Keeper on my project. As I said, I'm at 75%, so I'm almost there. I still have some more Hedwig. I'm using the other skein of Hedwig right now on the project. Oh, I'm excited to get it off the needles. It is very, very beautiful, and I'm loving how the colors have come out together. So I will be able to share this with you after May 31st, or on May 31st. May 31st is a Thursday, so if you want to see what I've been working on, I'll probably put a picture on my Instagram. But I'll share this early June, the first Sunday in June, so that you can see what Helen has in store for us on the Shawl Society this year. So the first pattern, based on the Secret Garden, as I said, really, really lovely, and I've been enjoying working on this project. Yesterday, I decided to do a Royal Wedding Day cast on, and I have put that in my Bird Leg Bags London bag. This bag gets used a lot. I love this bag. It's a fantastic size, and I love the handle. This is one of the first Bird Leg bags that I got, and I really, really love it. And as I said, it gets a lot of use. It came to London with me, and I think my Mind the Gap socks were living in this when I was in Europe a couple of years ago. So what am I making? I am making another Knit Me Baby One More Time. And I guess before I share this Knit Me Baby One More Time, I'll share the Knit Me Baby One More Time that I am wearing that I finished last Saturday night. I shared the unblocked sweater with you on the podcast last week with lots of ends still coming out. All the ends are now secured, and this is the Norah George BFL Cashmere Silk Blend. I decided to stripe it a little differently than the pattern. The new one I'm making, I'm going to actually stripe according to the pattern. So this is raspberry at the top, and then I have black currant, and then at the bottom is pollen. And I did a 2, 4, 6 stripe with the purple, and then 6, 4, 2 stripe going out of the pink, and then I did the same with the yellow and the purple at the bottom, and then just a 2x2 cuff, and I bound it off loosely, which I'm glad I did. I also bound the sleeves off loosely, and then I did the neckline just a little bit tighter. I wish I had done it a bit more tight because it's not quite gappy, but there's a little bit. Anyway, I did the extra large. I am finding it is quite roomy. It's got a bit of positive ease happening, which is okay. I don't mind that. But my next sweater that I'm doing in a large. So I'm going to have it maybe a little bit more snug. It also has nylon in the yarn that I'm using, so maybe it'll also be a little bit less drapey than this one. And I do love this sweater, so I'm very happy with how it has turned out, but it's nice if you're doing the same sweater to have it look a little bit different. I am doing another project for the Royalty and Romance Craft Along, and I am using a very special yarn from Norah George. I'm using the skein from the Royal Wedding Skein and Mini Kit with extras, and I'll show a couple of the extras that came with this. I do have a photograph of the yarn before I caked it up on my Instagram page, but this is a gorgeous white with purples, pinks, greens, blues, lots of gorgeous, gorgeous speckles on a natural base. And I have, as I said, cast on another Knit Me Baby one more time. So I am just on the back, and I'm doing just the shoulder caps right now. I haven't joined it in the round because it does have a bit of a scoop neck in this pattern. So I'm still just about here, and as I work down, then I will join for the round and do some very simple knitting in the round, which is always good. So this is the top of the shoulder and the top of the other shoulder, and you're getting a good chance to see what this yarn knits up like. Such a pretty yarn from Tracey, and I'm loving how it's knitting up. So that is the color that I'm using for the top part of the sweater. So this is called Spring Wedding. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it as the pattern calls for. So 2 stripes, 1 color, 2 stripes of the next contrasting color. So 3 colors total. And my second contrasting color is going to be Norah George Titania. And this was also a skein that came with a mini. This was the Great Characters of Literature for Midsummer Night's Dream last summer. I think maybe July. And this is a beautiful pink, and I think it'll go very nicely with the purple. And pink, everybody knows what color pink goes best with. Green. So I am also using this color, which is called Castle on the Hill. Again, another Norah George, and this is based on the song by Ed Sheeran, and I just think the pink and green striping along with the top of the Spring Wedding will make just such a lovely late spring sweater. So I'm aiming to get this done by my anniversary. Maybe I'll wear it on my anniversary. I am loving how these are knitting up together, and I also love the connection that they have for the whole Royalty and Romance Craft Along. Of course, this beautiful pink Titania, Queen of the Fairies, and then the Castle on the Hill, because every royal needs a castle. And then, of course, Spring Wedding was made specifically as a royal wedding yarn. So I think they go so well together, and just the theme, such a fun knit, and I'm really looking forward to working away on this and seeing it knit up. Pink and green is always wonderful, and with the purple at the top, perfect. I absolutely adore this pattern. This is the Knit Me Baby One More Time by Marianarella. I've knit it once, I'm knitting it twice. I can see making so many more of these, and the fact that you can go into your stash, grab 3 skeins that are different but go well together and make a sweater out of 3 skein, you know, 3 one skein wonders, I think is absolutely amazing. And I'm just looking forward to all the different combinations I can make. My original plan was to use my Woolen Vine Neptunia and to do it again, but in one solid color. I do plan to do that. That was what I was debating on when I first started this one. Do I do the Neptunia in one color, or do I use the yarn that I had purchased to do a stripy sweater? Stripy sweater one. Neptunia was going to be the second one, but then yesterday as I pawed through my stash and thought it'd be really fun to do a royal wedding cast on, this one popped up. So Neptunia will happen, just not right away. And for now, that is all I've got to share on my favorite things. And I am so happy that I've got a new sweater on the needles and that I'm also 75% done my Shawl Society. I'm hoping to cast on the next Sock Society pattern this week. I haven't chosen yarn, but I have an idea of what I might choose. I have seen that Kristen has designed a yarn for the Sock Society pattern. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not sure what I'm going to choose. I have an idea though, so we shall see, we shall see. Last Monday, I had a day off, which was completely wonderful. And what made it even better was that Monday during the day, as I was knitting, the door knocked and my amazing mailman was there and had 3 wonderful, wonderful packages for me. So the wonderful day just became completely amazing. But before I share what he brought me, I thought I would tell you a little bit about what I purchased on Mother's Day when I went to UKnit last week. So of course I purchased the supplies for my workshop, but I also, because I knew my family wouldn't get it for me, bought myself some wonderful Merchant & Mills TAILOR'S shears, and these are the 8-inch ones. They did have the 10-inch ones as well, but I just didn't like the feel in my hand. They have a pair that they use to cut the fabrics that you knit, and I held them and I just thought, I don't love them. So I'm much more comfortable with 8-inch scissors, so these are what I bought myself for Mother's Day. And I'm looking forward to doing some fixing up of my dress with my new shears. So that was one of the things that came into my house over the past week that I had been sort of thinking about for a while and decided while I was there to get them. And they were the last pair in stock at the time, so I was happy to get them last week. I did think about maybe leaving them to this week, but I didn't want to risk not being able to get them at all until the next shipment came in, when, who knows when that would be. Anyway, the wonderful things that arrived at my house on Monday included a wonderful package, and one of my friends went to the Edinburgh Yarn Festival and picked me up something spectacular, and that is a pink hazel EDINBAG in a gorgeous, gorgeous Rifle Paper Company floral print. Canvas at the bottom, lovely little pink hazel label, amazing leather strap, huge bag. It holds just, it'll be perfect for sweater knitting, zipper inside. It is a wonderful, wonderful pink hazel bag, which all pink hazel bags are amazing. But the fact that this one was said to me makes me so, so happy. So I am absolutely in love with this. I did go onto the Pink Hazel site because I know that Annette has some leather straps to make this into like a cross shoulder bag. So I bought myself a very large leather strap so that I can wear this a little bit more, carry it like a purse, get really good use out of this one. So I'm super excited that this one arrived. It is glorious. I love it. And the fact that it came from the Edinburgh Yarn Festival and is an EDINBAG makes me even more happy. So that was in the mail, and that was a perfect way to start off a Monday for sure. The next things that I'm going to share with you all come from Tracy of Norah George Yarns. And Tracy has amazing gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. And if you've tuned in before, you know I have a love affair with NORAH George yarns. This sweater is made of NORAH George yarns. My new sweater that I'm making is made of NORAH George yarns. I just cannot get enough of buying sweater quantities of NORAH George yarns because I want all the NORAH George sweaters. So when I saw back in the, I think, late winter that Tracy had been knitting a sweater that she had made a special color for, that wasn't in the shop, it was just a color that she made. It was a beautiful light green. I messaged her and said, oh, that green is perfect. You have to dye more of that. And she has. And I told her that the color reminds me of the color of my ceiling, which is a Benjamin Moore paint called Soft Fern. So I like to think that I have named this gorgeous colorway Soft Fern, the color of my ceiling, and I have purchased a sweater quantity of Soft Fern. And look at that, green with nice bits of pinky purple in there. So a perfect colorway. Along with this gorgeous sweater quantity, which is going crinkle crinkle, I did purchase a skein of Serpent of SLYTHERIN because when I saw this, I had to have it. Blue with green and pink. It's wonderful. And the fact that I am in SLYTHERIN house, that is my house, I had to have it. So I've got my Serpent of SLYTHERIN, and then I have a sweater quantity of Soft Fern. So that was one of the things that came my way this week. The next bit of NORAH George yarny goodness was my royal wedding kit, and I've already caked up and started using my spring wedding skein. That was the full 100 gram skein that came in this bag. And in this bag there were some lovely flower petals at the bottom of the bag, so just a very beautiful romantic touch. There was chocolate. I ate it. There were biscuits. I ate them. There was some tea. That's in the cupboard. I'm going to drink that later. There was a lovely cookie progress keeper along with some ring progress keepers. This fabulous pair of scissors. Now, everything that Tracy sent, everything was from Britain, so the British chocolate, the British cookies, and these scissors are made in England, and I love them. They're actually very smooth, and I've been enjoying using them over the past week just to do my little snipping of ends, so I am very much enjoying these scissors, along with the scissors I bought myself. It's a scissor week. And then there was a set of minis, and this is the Spring Bouquet, and isn't it so much better than flowers? Look at those gorgeous, gorgeous colors. So in typical Tracy fashion, NORAH George yarns just always make me so happy. So here comes the knitter. Love, love, love. And that was what is left of my royal wedding kit. The final thing that I'm going to share with you comes from, now there's a bit of a name change, so it was Little TAILORESS, but it is now Dandelion and Dogwood. Or maybe it's Dogwood and Dandelion. Amy, who used to be Little TAILORESS, I think it's Dogwood and Dandelion. I need to check. It is Dandelion and Dogwood. So Amy of Dandelion and Dogwood had created a club based on a movie called Waitress, which I've never seen, but I'd like to see. And she had these gorgeous, scrumptious pictures of pies. And so I think just seeing those, I was thinking, oh, what colorways is Amy going to create? They're going to be gorgeous. And they have been. All three have been absolutely beautiful skeins, and there's been lovely little goodies that have accompanied them. So there was marshmallow pie, and last month was based on peach pie, and this month is based on Fresh Start, very citrusy, and I'm really, really excited to share it with you. So let's go into full-on spoiler alert, because I'm going to share the last installment of the Waitress Club. Now, apparently my mail has been very, very slow, so many people have already gotten this, so perhaps it's not as much of a spoiler as it may have been a few weeks ago, but I'm still excited to share it with you. So as I said, this month is based on the concept of a fresh start, and Amy included these lemon candies. These are the best candies ever. I don't even know how they've made it through the week. I've sort of hidden them away, and every once in a while I'll pop one in my mouth. So good. I love these. I want more. These lemon bonbons are so good. I wish they sold them in Canada because they are just divine. So that's why I've been savoring them all week. But I had to sneak one in there. So the yarn that came with this month's club, as I said, is all about a fresh start, and it is very, very citrusy. It sort of reminds me of a lemon meringue, but we've got that beautiful blue. We've got some green. I love key lime pie, so this just reminds me of key lime pie. There is a wonderful little progress keeper there, which is a plate with a slice of pie and a fork on there, and then this gorgeous little blue mini. I think these would make just such a fresh pair of socks. So fun. So even though it's got yellow in it, I actually really, really love it because the aqua and that gorgeous green really make the yellow so happy. So this is the now Dandelion and Dogwood, but formerly Little TAILORESS yarn, and I am so excited to see what this will become. And that leaves me with the tag and an empty basket. It's now time for some bits and bobs, and this is my segment where I chatter on about things that aren't necessarily knitting or crafting related, but right now all that is on my mind is crafting, because I'm getting ready to go over to UKnit for part 2 of my embroidery workshop. So I will do what I did last week, which is finish recording, go out for the afternoon. When I come back, I will then edit and upload. But for now, I'm just excited to take in the day. It's beautiful, it's sunny. I'm going to go up to UKnit. After the workshop, I'm hoping to maybe go for another walk along Bloor Street like I did last week, take in the sights, the sounds, all those lovely dinner smells that will be happening around that time, and just enjoying some sunshine. It is a holiday weekend in Toronto, so I'm looking forward to some sunshine tomorrow. Maybe I'll be able to sit out on the porch and do some knitting and just have a lovely, relaxing day, because I know the next few weeks are going to be super, super busy at work. Yesterday, I did enjoy sitting and watching the royal wedding, although I do have to say, I am very traditional, so watching some of the things that happened during the wedding, particularly the sermon, was a little bit out of my comfort zone. I think my jaw might have been on the floor when, you know, it's time to get you married now, and who drove here in a car, those kind of comments. I don't know, I think a wedding needs to be a little bit more reverent, although I know a lot of people did very much enjoy the modernization of the service. But I do think I like the traditional service a little bit. I don't know, it's a solemn occasion. It's a wedding. It's something that, you know, should not be taken into lightly, and so that was my feeling on it. But it was a beautiful day. The wedding dress was lovely. It was rainy here, so I was really very much enjoying seeing all the sunshine, and I'm so glad that it was such a beautiful day for the wedding in England. I just wish it had been as nice here, although if it had been as nice here, maybe I would have been tempted to go outside and not have enjoyed the festivities as much on the TV. As always, it was a crazy week. The boys are both busy at school. Isaac, now that the musical is done, has been doing some musical theater history. I did get an email from his guidance counselor, and he has a conflict on his schedule for next year, so not too happy about that. The vocal music class is at the same time as the dance class, so we got to figure out what's going to happen there. But I think he's looking forward to some summertime and just enjoying the sunshine and the summer break that he will get as he prepares to go into his final year of high school. And Nathaniel has been preparing for the EQAO, which is the provincial standardized testing that they do in grade 3 and 6. So he's in grade 3, so he's been getting ready for that. I mean, it's standardized tests. There's not really much you can get ready for other than maybe learning to answer the questions in a certain way that they're looking for, but so hopefully he won't get too stressed out about that. This past week, Greg went on a retreat, so he was in upstate New York, and I guess they had some cabins there, and they had a few days away, which meant that I was playing single mom. I do not like playing the role of single mom because, according to my mug, I am the best mom never. And when I have to play single mom, it's tiring. I really, really have a huge respect for anybody who's doing it on their own, because I know when I have to, just even if it's for 3 days, it is beyond my scope. It's, you know, having to wake up extra early, which is never my favorite thing to do. Getting both boys up and getting them going in the morning, making sure they've got something in their tummies, and then getting them out the door without killing each other. That's just a challenge when Greg's here. When he's not here for 3 days, yeah. So not my favorite thing, and it makes me feel like I am best mom never when I am single mom. So anyway, I made it through. Greg is back. It's all good. And otherwise, I don't think there was anything else eventful that took place other than I wore my sweater to work on Friday. I got lots of compliments on it, and it was just such a nice thing to wear both Fridays. So 2 Fridays ago, I wore my new dress. This past Friday, I wore this sweater. The only problem was when I got home, we had hamburgers for dinner, and I had a pickle, and I ate the pickle, and I got pickle juice all down my shirt, and then I spilled something else on it. So I had to throw this to be in the sink to soak, and it wasn't fully dry when I put it on to wear it today because I wanted to share it on the podcast. It's now dry, which is good, but yeah, I'm just so happy to finally be able to wear it. I did forget to mention, so when I first started this, I've got like a little bit of a gap here, and on Friday morning I thought, oh, what I should do is just run a couple threads up. So I've actually done it on this side here where that little gap is. It's not the neatest, but it does fill it in, and I haven't done this side yet, so I will probably do that. But I'm just enjoying being able to wear something that is not only me made in May, but something that I've been wanting to tackle for a while, and that is a sweater. So I need to go on a sweater kick. I am definitely looking forward to working on my sweater this week. And in fact, I was sort of thinking that what I would like to do is to try and keep 3 projects on the go. So 1 garment, a shawl or a test knit, and then a pair of socks, so that I can sort of move them around. So I'm sort of moving out of my monogamous knitting comfort zone, and maybe I'd like to try and open it up a little bit. Although I do tend to find that when I do have a sweater on, it's so much easier to just sort of put it aside and ignore it for a while. So there is something to be said about me and monogamous knitting. Anyway, that is all I've got for Bits and Bobs this week, and who knows what the week ahead holds. Thank you so much for joining me on the Comfy Red Couch this week. You know that I always love having you visit me, and I hope that you've had a chance to just enjoy some quiet time, work on that craft of choice. Perhaps you're making it for the Royalty and Romance Craft Along. I'm looking forward to seeing lots of pictures of all of your wonderful crafts coming up. And I wish you a wonderful week ahead, full of sunshine and lots of crafting time and just lots of wonderful goodness. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week on the Comfy Red Couch. Bye. Last week, this was my spring bouquet. This week, this is my spring bouquet. Which would you choose?